jumping on to send some love, and the holiday season is approaching. So that could bring up feelings of being sparkly and happy and fun and joy. It can also bring up feelings of sadness, disappointment, not enoughness, loneliness. It's like a roller coaster of emotions sometimes, especially when we set expectations and those expectations are not met, which can happen a lot. And so wherever you are on this ride, as we go through the next 6 weeks, 2 months-ish, I want you to know that you are seen and heard and loved, and just continue to remind yourself of that. So one of the biggest lessons that I am learning is self-love and self-acceptance. And that I don't need to explain myself in order to be understood, because no matter what I say, that might not happen anyways. And so I am meant to approach life with both a soft heart and a strong spine. And with that, part of like self-love and acceptance is learning to not abandon my truth, to sometimes that pause is nice. I'm learning that I don't need to contort myself in order to meet other people's expectations of me, to soothe their discomfort and their feelings. And that can be tricky when it's something that, maybe I've spent my life doing. There's the triangle where it's like victim, perpetrator, rescuer. And a lot of times we'll approach different situations, perhaps casting ourselves in one of those roles. A lot of times for me, I'd want to fix a problem. I can't listen to someone's issue or hear them explain feelings of discomfort without trying to like rush in and fix it for them. When who's to say what the best possible solution is for them? I just wanted to fix it so that I wouldn't feel uncomfortable because they're uncomfortable. Instead of being able to just sit with those feelings and, just really listen, I wanted to offer a solution. And it'd be like a solution in the lens of what I think is best. So probably the best solution for myself, but not necessarily for them. And so one of the things that I'm also practicing is learning how to actively listen without trying to jump into being a fixer, and to be curious and ask questions instead of trying to offer a solution or trying to like smooth over whatever thing, like, this uncomfortable or like bad thing happened to you. Well, at least it wasn't this, we don't need to offer that. I don't need to offer that silver lining. Part of why I like to do it is because then it's like, oh, let me make you happy. You are uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with that. I don't want you to be sad, mad, whatever. So like, oh, the silver lining, and please agree so that we can move out of this uncomfortable conversation. But the human experience is so uncomfortable sometimes. It can be so lonely. We can feel things so deeply, and then it's easy to judge what we feel because we don't want to feel it and we don't want to sit in it. And something that I've been doing is just like sitting and observing when I feel something very deeply. Recently it's kind of been loneliness. It's funny because it's like, I live with my husband and my 2 kids. Like the house is a lot of times like full of voices and people, and yet I could still feel a profound loneliness as I'm moving through, the day with these people that I love so much and I'm so happy to be around. But it's like two things can be true. You could have, move through life and be content in some ways, but then also like there's just this own like underlying set of like emotions that I am meant to just feel and not suppress anymore and kind of just express it then. So it's like identifying what the feeling is, where might it be in my body, is there like some kind of message from it, just sitting with it and saying like, I feel this way, and like, okay, like I'm just gonna sit with it and move through it. And a lot of times it's like 90 seconds of like that intensity, and then it kind of starts to dissipate. But for me, it's like it might keep circling back because I didn't let myself feel feelings for so long. And so then I'll try to like move my body, whether it's like dance a little, go for a walk, I just get it out, shake my hands. That's a great one. And so just to get that energy moving, and then maybe there'll be like a creative outlet after that. Like maybe I'll go paint or write down my thoughts in a journal, or, whatever else feels good in that moment. And so even though there's been this like intense set of emotions, it's like I don't want to continue to suppress things, because then it gets stuck in your body and it's like things don't function properly. If I suppress the loneliness, it could sit somewhere in my body, and then I end up in the future having like chronic health pains. It's not just about, sleeping, eating, drinking the proper things. It's also like the spiritual element of feeling your feelings, because those can get trapped in your body, connecting to a higher source of whatever it is you want to call it, divine, God, goddess, the universe, and feeling tied to knowing that we're not alone, like we're all part of the one, can also bring some comfort in those times. Like I kind of think like, okay, I signed up for this, there's lessons to learn, like why now is this happening through me? So it's like to me, for me, through me, like what's the ultimate lesson here? One thing I like to do with ChatGPT is I might voice note in like all of what's been going on in like a day or a situation, and say, can you mirror this back to me with the lens of a lesson of like unconditional love, or like what might be the lessons from this back and forth. And that's actually been like a really fun thing to do, because it's neat to have it mirrored back in like a neutral way, and then with the lens of like unconditional love, for example. So, with the 3D earth, it's like we are a lot of times learning things through polarity. So it's like opposites, like light and dark, success, failure. But neither one is right or wrong. It's just like you like need both in order to be whole. And so like unconditional love, we might have experiences or situations in which we have interactions with like friends, family, people on the street, coworkers, whomever, in which we're mirrored what unconditional love is not. And then it's like, how can you see that, not judge it, almost like accept it, which acceptance doesn't necessarily mean like compliance, but just like, okay, I see you, it is what it is, like I'm not going to resist reality, this is what's, this is what I'm experiencing. And then like, how do I then still have maybe like compassion, empathy, but stay strong in like my boundary and what I need. So it's like that soft heart of like being able to experience like compassion for the other, but then still like not abandoning yourself. So like having that strong spine. So that is, I think, one of my biggest lessons at this point in time, is just approaching situations with like the both, having that open, soft heart and strong spine. And so I just wanted to get on and share that, and let me know what all's going on with you. I hope that as you start to go through your holiday season, it's a lot of the fun and sparkle and joy. And of course, with that could be other feelings like sadness, disappointment, expectations not met. And know that in that polarity, a lot of times, like when we have that like darkness, if you will, it's like clarity and wisdom is hidden within that. So maybe instead of backing away and shying away from it, like go in and see like what are the wisdom nuggets there, and let me know what you think.